Matthew Hennessey to join us. There's the book, Frankie Five Boroughs. Thank you. Oh, yes. Oh, I love this book. I read it inside out and backwards. My favorite book. Matthew, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
This is a big shot right here. Deputy Opinion Editor for the Wall Street Journal Editorial page, please. Author of this book, this is the book, right? I just want to make sure. 0 Hour for Gen X, How the Last Adult Generation Could Save America for Millennials. And usually we had the book here, and we have it somewhere. You saw it as you walked in. It was on Hope's.
Yeah, it's like
you thought we just kind of threw it into the file.
No. I saw it there. I know it's like your own children. If you see them in a crowd, you're gonna pick it right out. I have about 20 of those on my bookshelf at home. So.
We had, Frankie, a symposium about this within the company.
That's right. That's right. Really. I actually had to steal McCullough's copy, but that's okay.
Thank you very much. Matthew, hey, you're from Jersey, man?
Yeah, I'm from Morristown, New Jersey, the military capital of the Revolution.
No, that's great, though. That's a great town.
A little farther out than your neck of the woods.
No, I go way out in Hunterdon.
Oh, really?
I'm out 78 way.
But that's not where you're from. That's
Newark. Yeah. We're all Newark, guys. Isn't everybody from Newark originally in Jersey? Newark. That's it.
My good friend Steve Malanga from City Journal.
Yeah,
Newark.
That's it, man.
That's how you pronounce it.
So you're from Morristown originally?
Yeah, so is my dad.
Where'd you go to high school?
Morristown High School.
Look at you, man.
Yeah.
And now work at the Wall Street Journal, big shot like that, huh?
Yeah, a lot of people.
Did you stay in Jersey?
No. Unfortunately, I call myself the king of the tri. I've lived everywhere. At the moment, we live in Yonkers.
Yeah.
It's a good commute.
Yeah,
but we lived in Connecticut. My wife's from Staten Island. Frank knows about that.
Hey, there you go.
Nice.
And
there's something I liked about you.
It's still, no matter what, the taxes in the whole area, no matter where you go, it's impossible, brother.
It's tough.
You got kids and everything, man?
I got 5 kids, Joe.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Yes, I do.
This is great.
And not including the book.
No, and I have 5 children as well.
No kidding.
Yes, I do.
That's a well-kept secret, Joe Piscopo.
But how many? You have 1 wife, though, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, you got me there. I can see Morano gives me the eye. And ask the question, Joe. Ask him. How many mothers? I can see the Morano's eyes. All right. I asked the question. I'm honest, right? I'm not dumb.
It's easy to do it with
smart. I'm smart like everybody, not like everybody says. See, the millennials, which I could be real silly this morning. Not that I've dated any, but it's like when you. But there are some millennials who are great. Let me put it this way. I have a kid that works for me, Big Mike. Great guy. He's 27 years old. And he's got character. He's responsible.
Sure.
He wants to be a police officer, and now he's kind enough to work for me. Great kid. And and then in the military, they're mostly millennials.
Of course. Listen, I go out of my way. I knew people would see the title of this book and say, "What's this guy's problem?" My son is a great boy, and all this kind of stuff. I go out of my way in the book to say we're talking about a gigantic cohort of people, bigger than the baby boom, right? So the largest, when the counting is done, there will be the largest generational cohort in American history.
Wow.
So you're going to have all types. Obviously, there's a lot of very brave, patriotic millennials in the military, as you said. I work with 4 or 5 of them at the Wall Street Journal. These are very smart, conservative, patriotic young people, and if as I like to say, if they end up running the world, we'll be okay. But it's the other 75% of the cohort.
But there are some. So I'll tell you this: I was at the communion for my little child, my 8-year-old, on a Sunday, and I told the story on the air. So forgive me if you heard this before. But Matthew, I walked out of the restaurant. We're walking everybody out. And there's a young guy there, if he's 30, clear millennial. Mm-hmm. And he goes, Joe, Mr. Piscopo, I'm a big fan. And he goes like this. He says, you're a Trump guy. He goes, I love Donald Trump. And I don't consider myself a Trump guy. I'm a pro-American, and I appreciate what the president, and totally support this president, and make no apologies for it, by the way. Here's this
kid.
That
makes you a Trump guy, Joe?
Yeah. I always tell Morano, I always go to Frank.
Apart from that, what don't you like?
I always go to Morano. I go, no, but I'm not like pro-Trump. He goes, yes, you are. I said, am I, Frank? Am I?
I think so. I don't think you're undecided. That's
no. Yeah. It's the president. I support the president, and he's doing a great job. This kid says to me, "You're a Trump guy. I'm a Trump guy. Thank you. I believe in everything you stand for." He was a millennial, so for me, there's hope for the future.
Of course, there's hope for the future. I wouldn't have even bothered setting pen to paper if I didn't think there was hope. I mean, I put my hope as the title suggests, in my own generation. And the basic gist of it is that we're going to be the last generation of Americans to grow up without the internet, without the constant ability to satisfy your desires.
Good point. Yeah.
To download any answer or movie or a song that you want instantly. And more than that, we are the last generation to have internalized this idea that you got to wait for what you want and you got to pay for what you get. What I see, what a lot of people say, I'm not the only one saying it, Joe, is that the younger generation, the millennials, there's an even younger generation than that that's coming up, but the millennial generation that's kind of moving through the culture like a big ostrich egg through a snake, and just sort of like you can't miss it. It's sort of dominating everything. They really don't have much of a connection with that notion that all the previous American generations had to contend with, which is you got to wait for things that you want, and you got to pay for what you get.
Are we just hearing about those millennials? I want to ask you about the stock market, too, 11 minutes after 9 o'clock, with Matthew Hennessey, Deputy Opinion Editor for the Wall Street Journal Editorial page. He's got the book right here. I hold in my hand, 0 Hour for Gen X, How the Last Adult Generation Can Save America from Millennials. Maybe we're just hearing about the quote-unquote kind of wacko ideas of AOC and that sort of thing, because when I see we have on the show Madison Gesiotto, we could ask Kayleigh McEnany, who is now the spokesperson for the 2020 Donald Trump campaign. So there's a lot of maybe we're just hearing about the wacko millennials. Do you think that's a big force out there?
Well, they're very good. They're very good at social media. There's no question about that. They're like the water that they swim in, which baby boomers and Generation Xers do okay at. Obviously, the president does pretty well at it, but it's not your natural habitat. It feels like a foreign environment when you're on there.
Yeah.
If you're under the age of 40, 35 or 40, this has just been something that sort of got you through high school, it got you through college. You never knew what it was like to go down to the library and crack an encyclopedia to try to figure out the answer for a question or whatever. Just got it on your phone.
Yeah.
So that younger cohort, that's going to naturally have an effect on your attitude towards things like politics. So what grown-ups know is that political questions can be difficult. They do not lend themselves to easy solutions, easily downloadable or off-the-shelf solutions, sometimes compromise, sometimes give and take.
Yeah.
I think what you see in the rise of AOC and the rise of that sort of angry left-wing populism of people in their 20s is connected in some way to their attitudes towards the internet, which is I want what I want and I want it now, and don't tell me that I'm going to have to wait 20 years.
Good point.
Don't tell me that it's going to be hard and that I'm going to have to compromise with people I don't like. I've never had to do that. I don't want to do that, and in fact, I'll burn the place down if you make me do that. Now, one of the things I say in the book is that I met a young person, the lady who actually took my photo for the book, who was 25, and I explained the premise of the book, and she said, Generation X, what is that? I don't even know what that is. And I explained to her the sort of what the definition was, and she said, oh, yeah, no, I remember. She had a little twinkle in her eye. She said, you're the generation that's not going to get a president. Now, that seems prophetic to me at the moment. I kind of laughed about it. I put it in the book, but I laughed about it. But take a look at what's going on right now. If the election was held today, the next president would be another baby boomer. It would be either Donald Trump, Joe Biden, or Bernie Sanders. Those are the three guys who are dominating in the polls.
Right.
Okay, if you take those guys away, who else is getting any action? Who else is making noise, making a name for himself? It's this young mayor from South Bend, Indiana. He's 36 or 37 So,
New Jersey, you can't pronounce it.
What are we missing? We're missing. Does anybody realistically think that Cory Booker has a chance, or that Gillibrand has a chance? Any of these Generation Xers?
Yeah.
Beto. I mean, give me a break. That's not going to work.
You think Mayor Pete has a chance? I don't see.
No, I don't think he has a chance of becoming president. In 2020, but I'm using him as an example to show you that like all of the action in politics is at the two ends among baby boomers and millennials. Torches getting passed right over the heads of Gen Xers, and that's sort of that's why I wrote the book in the first
but
place.
Politically too, about the Bernie. Do you think Bernie? I don't know how he could resonate, and will Biden bypass him? Huh?
People love him.
It's so wild, though. I mean,
he connects with people. And I got to give Bernie credit. I mean, I obviously think that his economic ideas, I think most of his ideas are pretty odious.
Yeah.
That won't surprise you. I work for the editorial page of the Wall Street Journal. But on a couple of things, he can cut sideways and he can surprise you. He's from Vermont, so he has a very nuanced position about the Second Amendment. He says things occasionally like that you don't expect. Like, we can't have open borders. You can't just have an open border in a rich country like this. We can't relocate everyone from Central America or South America that wants to come here. We can't do it. You wouldn't expect a guy like Bernie to say that, and people love that in politics. They love when you wrong foot them a little bit, and they go, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess I want things to be fair. He's just talking about things being fair. Plus, he's kind of a personable. He's a character.
Yeah.
He's a character. I could see him. Unfortunately, I could see him winning the Democratic nomination. I don't know if he could beat Donald Trump. But.
Really, even over Biden. Yeah,
I think Biden is cruising on name recognition, and that's just going to slowly erode. He's a little bit of a walking gap.
Matthew, you're so up on everything. I so appreciate that. The $1.5 billion that went to Hunter Biden, to the hedge fund, does that surface in China? And it looks like Vice President Biden was kind of masking that when he stuck up and said, "Oh, China's not our competition." And I'm thinking, like, well, wait a minute, is this after they gave, and correct me if I'm wrong, the $1.5 billion to a hedge fund or something run by Hunter Biden? A little curious.
I don't know the specifics of that, but there was, this guy Hunter Biden has obviously had a sort of a checkered past, and he had some business dealings in Ukraine that were somewhat suspect. The guy, these people are 75 plus. I mean, Bernie's 78.
Yeah.
He might be 79. They're going to have a lot of skeletons in the closet. You don't stay in politics for 50 years and have a clean sheet. So they're dealing with that. Mayor Pete doesn't have any of that. He might, somebody will find something eventually, I'm sure, if he keeps on chugging. But all these guys, Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders, are going. It's going to be a slow erosion of those really sky high numbers. Probably someone else will come from out of nowhere. Maybe it'll be a Gen Xer. I sort of doubt it.
So Matthew Hennessey, and the book, by the way, is a 0 hour for Gen X. You want to check it out. We have it right here. Stock market was down. People got scared a little bit yesterday. They're saying this is because of the China tariffs, sir. What is your opinion?
The stock market is going to, shave itself every time the president threatens to put tariffs on anybody. Tariffs are bad. Let's just sort of stipulate that. It's a tax on yourself. It's a tax on consumers in your own country, and it's not good. Now, having said that, the president loves tariffs, and he is threatening to raise them again on Chinese goods coming into the United States over the border. And it has, okay, so it's complicated because I hate tariffs. I'm against tariffs. However, these are bad guys. They don't play fair. So the president has evidently decided this is my big stick, and I'm going to use it.
That's my next question. You're right on. Yep.
I'm going to use it to bring them to heel on a bunch of things that aren't really related to trade, but are related to the kind of naughty things they get up to when our companies do business in China, like stealing their secrets, insisting that if you come here, you have to sort of tell us all of your trademarks, trade secrets, and give us all that technology they steal. They don't play fair. Now, a better approach, I think, would have been to round up all your friends and your allies around the world, go to China, present a unified front, and say, you have to stop this, or we're going to kick you out of the World Trade Organization. Well, Trump doesn't really like to do things that way. He's more of a America First guy, so he's a unilateralist. So he said, I'm going to do this my way. We're going to find out, Joe, whether it works or not. We're going to see this week if there's a deal.
Yeah.
If there's a deal, then, me and my friends at the Wall Street Journal are going to have to reluctantly conclude that this strategy worked. If there's no deal, and China slaps tariffs back on us, and we slap tariffs back on them, and we go to an all-out trade war, I'm afraid it's going to be really ugly. And it's actually going to be really ugly for Donald Trump, because the one thing that he has in his back pocket going into next year
the economy
is roaring like a rocket.
Yeah.
And if it's not, this time next year, he's going to have a real hard time.
We got to break Stephen Moore, man. I was bummed about that. I like Stephen Moore. I mean, he should be on the Fed, no?
It's terrible.
Huh? It was. You got to follow this guy, Matthew. What's your Twitter account?
It's Matt Hennessey. That's it.
Just like that. And the book is 0 Hour for Gen X: How the Last Adult Generation Could Save America from Millennials. Matthew is a deputy opinion editor for the Wall Street Journal Editorial page, author of this book. You got to come back, man. Great chatting with you.
Okay, thanks,
you are Jersey, my brother.
All right.
Thank you, man. Matthew, thanks for taking the time this morning. Hey, it's Piscopo in the morning.